Hey everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to my winter evening routine. I'm going to be sharing a delicious and healthy recipe for dinner that I love making this time of year because it mostly consists of just staple like pantry ingredients and spices, but it's really feel-good food and perfect for this time of year. I've also got a golden milk latte recipe that I've been making on repeat and my full skincare routine. I've been dealing with acne and this has really been helping me. So I'm so excited to share this video with you and let's get started. Hey guys, Happy New Year. I do still have my Christmas tree up, as you can see, but in my defense, I'm kind of treating it like a lamp at the moment because it gets so dark so early this time of year that it just is one way that we can add a little more light to the apartment. Kind of gives like a warmth and a coziness that I really like. So I'm gonna keep it up for a while, but I just finished work for the day, so I'm going to bundle up and go on a walk. It is very cold, and to be honest, I love going on a walk, especially after work, to help me de-stress and unwind. But just like when you are going to the gym, like sometimes you don't feel like doing it, but I know that I feel so much better. Like honestly, for me, it makes such a big difference to get outside and get some fresh air. So I know I'm gonna feel better afterwards. Some days I have more time than others, so some days I take a nice long walk and other times I literally just do 1 or 2 loops around the block and come back inside. But even that I really feel like makes a difference and it's definitely worth it. So this is one of those moments where it's kind of good is not the enemy of great. If you don't have time for a long walk, even just getting outside and going around the block can really make a big difference. So last year, Nicholas and I got into the habit of having dinner really, really late. And I know for me personally, that doesn't make me feel very good because I like to have a big meal, especially at dinner time. I like really hearty foods. And whenever I go to bed with a full stomach, I don't sleep very well. I definitely get heartburn from that. Me personally, I don't know if that's everyone, but it just doesn't make me feel very good. And I don't feel as good the next day because I didn't sleep well. And that can make you feel stressed and just uncomfortable. So now our goal is to have dinner around 7, between 7 and 7:30. Not super early, but for us, it's way earlier than we were having it, and it just makes me feel so much better. So this is going to be a quick version of chana masala, and I absolutely love this meal. It relies very heavily on some pantry staples and dried spices. The only fresh ingredients that you're going to need is some garlic and an onion, and so I saute that first. I like to add a chili pepper just finely chopped up, but you can also leave this out if you want it to be more mild. And then I always keep ginger in the freezer so I have it on hand, and that way I don't have to bother with chopping it. I can just grate it directly into the pot or pan. I find that I don't always go through a full ginger if I keep it fresh, but if I have it in the freezer, it's always there ready and waiting for me, and I can just grate it, and it's really easy to grate when it's frozen. Then we're gonna add our spices, and this is the best part. This instantly adds so much flavor and it makes the kitchen smell amazing. We're gonna add some garam masala, some ground coriander, some cumin, turmeric, black pepper, and this is really going to add so much flavor. And as soon as the spices hit the heat, they bloom, they come back to life, and they just become incredibly fragrant and delicious. Then comes the pantry staples. I've got tomato paste, veggie broth, canned tomatoes, and canned chickpeas. Add that all in with a little bit of cornstarch, which is not a traditional ingredient, but it really helps to make this a quick version of chana masala, and you get a nice thick sauce that coats the chickpeas perfectly. I've also got a pot of rice going, and I'm just gonna let this simmer so that I can go ahead and take off my makeup and dinner will be ready and waiting for me. Another thing that helps me to relax is to do my skincare routine early in the evening. So I'll actually do it before I even have dinner. I will wash my face or shower, get into comfy pajamas, and I'm pretty much ready for bed at dinner time. And that is my favorite thing. I feel so cozy having dinner, knowing that my skincare routine is done and I don't have to bother with doing that later on in the evening. And that way I can just kind of chill and really relax. It's a small thing and I don't always do it. It's not perfect, but whenever I do, I just feel so much better, especially when my intention for the evening is to de-stress, unplug, and unwind. So the first thing I do is I wash off my makeup and then I go hard on my skincare routine because it's actually something that I look forward to now because it's working finally. And I feel like when you start to see results, it's just very motivating and you want to continue doing it because I broke out in the worst acne that I've ever had. My skin was painfully cystic acne all along my cheeks and under my neck and my chin. It was just a lot, and a lot of it was because of stress, basically the better part of all of last year, my skin was really freaking out and stressed out. And I think it was just moving across the country. I was working on my manuscript. I was, doing photo shoots and editing photos for the cookbook, and also trying to keep up with my content and try to keep everything afloat at the same time. It was all good stuff, but I think it was just a lot, and stress really shows up for me on my skin. And so it was just taking a toll, and my skin freaked out. And so now my skincare routine is really about calming down, de-stressing, and soothing and hydrating my skin, because actually, despite the acne, my skin is very dry and very dehydrated. I went to a dermatologist back in November. I went to a dermatologist and an esthetician, but luckily the esthetician is my sister, so that was very convenient. And they helped me put together a skincare routine that is actually working. So I'm going to show you what I do. So the first thing I do is I remove my makeup, and then I cleanse my skin. And I always use this little scrubby brush at night, because this has made a huge difference. It vibrates, and it has like little silicone bristles that are very gentle, and it helps to really clean the skin, and it helps with the little detail places like around your jawline, hairline, in your eyebrows. If you ever get little breakouts or clogged pores in your eyebrows or around your nose, this can really kind of get in there and properly clean your skin. It's made a big difference in terms of texture for me, but you do want to make sure that you don't press down too hard. I just kind of hold it in place and do gentle circles, and I try to wash my face for about a minute, because that really allows the cleanser enough time to break up all the oil and debris and properly clean your skin. 3 to 4 times a week, my doctor wanted me to use a salicylic acid cleanser to help exfoliate the skin, and that is great, but it's also very drying. So the rest of the time I use this ocean cleanser from OSEA, which is pH balanced. It's purifying and it's very nourishing because it has seaweed in it, but it's a lot more gentle. So this is what I use in between, and that has been working really well for me. There's quite a few OSEA products in my routine. Some of them I've been using for years, so I teamed up with them to get you guys 10% off with my link and code below. The next step is one that my sister, the esthetician, was very adamant about, and that is hyaluronic acid. This goes on clean skin while it's still a little bit damp, and it really helps to hold in the moisture, and I do it on my face and on my neck, morning and night. After that, in the evenings, I do a thin layer of clindamycin, which is a prescription that I got from my dermatologist. Then I let that dry, and I do a thin layer of azelaic acid 15%, which is also a prescription. Let that dry, and then comes my favorite part of the routine, this moisturizer. I look forward to putting this on my face because it instantly feels so good. Like, I can't even describe how the second I start rubbing it into my skin, it's instantly so soothing and calming. It's thick and hydrating and soothing without being greasy or heavy, and I just find that it actually makes my face feel good. And any of you who have dealt with skin issues, you know how painful skin problems can be, and having something that actually leaves your face feeling good is such a relief. It has lavender in it, which is very soothing, but it also has something called bioretinol, which is made from blue-green microalgae, and it all combines into a moisturizer that is the first clinically proven moisturizer to reduce the effect of stress on the skin. I love a lot of OSEA products, so I'll put a list of my favorites down below, but this is definitely really high up there, so definitely worth checking out. Click the link in the description box below for 10% off, and I hope this was helpful. In my cookbook, Vegan Party Planning, I shared a recipe called coconut and spinach sog. And in that recipe, and also this recipe, it's so important to finish the dish with your tomatoes, onions, and yogurt. They're not just garnish. It's not just to make it pretty. It really ties the dish together. And when you get that fresh element with the really savory, delicious chickpeas and rice, it is just such a fantastic combination. That recipe and the link to my cookbook will be in the description box below. Then I get into comfy clothes, and on this night, I decided to remove my nail polish, trim my nails, and do some cuticle oil, which felt so nice and fresh because my nails were getting super long. Then I've been loving making a turmeric latte as a kind of sweet treat. What you do is you mix together cinnamon and turmeric and ginger, a little salt, a little pepper, and you mix that with maple syrup to create this really delicious kind of golden milk paste. And then you mix that in with your milk of choice. I like using a pea milk or a soy milk. And then I will warm it up, and as it starts to simmer, the spices and the maple syrup infuse the milk, and it just becomes so flavorful. It has a little bit of kick from the ginger, but it's not too sweet. And it's just like cinnamony and delicious, and I love sipping on this every night. I'll put the full recipe down below so you can make it at home. It's such a nice wintry treat when you want something cozy, but not like a full dessert. This is just a nice thing to sip while you're watching TV. And recently we've been watching the Harry Potter movies or Will and Grace reruns. That's kind of our thing at the moment. And the last thing I do is I put some water by my bed and I set my diffuser so that I get a little bit of humidity in the air because it is so dry this time of year. But that is my evening routine. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out the recipes that are in the description box below, as well as the link to try OSEA and the link for my cookbook. I really hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in a video very soon. Bye.